to really just talk about DJing as a journey, like the DJ set and presenting it as a journey. And we had some questions for starting with China. And Chris will be doing a demonstration later, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Cool. Oh, you got the fancy mic now. Okay, cool. I want to start with you, with regards to buying music, the process that you use, getting your music. How often do you buy, and is there a process for you? Is it something that happens every week? Is it something that, how do you buy? Do you just buy house music? Do you just buy whenever you feel like buying? I just want to start there with regards to building your catalog.
Hello? Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Not? Sure.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, thank you for having me. Thank you for supporting this summit. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate you being here. To get to your question, for me personally, buying music, I make it a habit of a weekly thing. If maybe it happens that I'm busy on a specific week, then obviously I'll have to back date to the week before, but I try and stick to a weekly thing, So it could be maybe of every Monday, or maybe every Friday, depending on whichever day I choose.
And when you're buying stuff, because you obviously play mainly house music, but you also get to play down-tempo stuff, So when you buying weekly, are you mainly focused on getting house music stuff, or you kind of open to anything new?
Obviously, we start with the work stuff, which is house music, and everything else follows. That's an extension of me, of what I like, But most importantly for me, I start with house music, with what I need to use. So I prepare my tools, and music in this case being it, for the week.
Yeah. Something that I've actually myself, I've never really got to. I'm still looking for a perfect way of using my USBs, like folders, basically arranging my music in my USBs. And sometimes it would be monthly. I would have like a monthly folder, and then under that month would have subfolders of 1, 2, or 3. Sometimes it doesn't really work for me at gigs if I'm trying to look for a song that I bought in March and I don't know which subfolder it's in, and it's in December, but I want to play that particular song. So how do you, I ask this question to both of you guys, because maybe you guys would have different ways that you do it. How do you set up your folders, Chris?
Okay. Every month, let's say every time I purchase, let's say a lot of my purchasing is from TrackSource, even though I get promo. So I kind of try and put them in. If it's from TrackSource, I'll put it TrackSource. Then I'll have the subfolders, and I'll put Afro, Deep, Dubs, Vocal, maybe Jazz House. So all the subfolders of the stuff that I play. Once again, like China, I buy the stuff that I'm going to play the most first, and then I'll put in the subgenres. Because I'm doing different residencies, I'm playing some down-tempo stuff, some lounge beats quite often, some jazz house on Sundays, and a lot of soulful vocals as well. So I like to try and split my music up as much as I can as I buy. But unfortunately, you buy to how good the music is. So if there's more deep stuff this week, you'll buy more deep stuff. So I kind of try and find stuff that I can fit with all the shop's genres. And that I do per purchase. Then what I do is quite often, every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks, then I do a folder for the month and I put my favorite tracks. Okay. And then I go back and refresh that folder, maybe take out songs, make a new folder for, or another subfolder, so that I kind of, maybe the songs that I missed, that I didn't hear the first time around, maybe I'll re-listen to them and dump them in the folder and stuff like that. So, and then, but most importantly, the subfolders, in other words, my afro, my deep, my soulful vocal, they're the same style. And eventually, when the year ends, I put in all the best tracks of that year in that folder, so I can kind of go back. So I know if there was a track, at least I kind of remember, okay, it was 2 years ago, and hopefully I'll find it there, stuff like that. So very, very important if you want to have a variety of music and you're playing at a variety of gigs. And for me, the most powerful tool is the music you have. So that kind of differentiates you, from everybody else. There is the technical side and stuff like that, but I think that's secondary. What's very important is the musical side. I think the music is, I categorize it as the most important thing. It doesn't matter whether I'm playing at a commercial event or at a very deep event or at a niche event or eclectic event. It doesn't matter. The music's still number one priority.
Yeah. And do you have a different way of putting your stuff in folders?
Not necessarily different from you per se. I mean, I do it just like how you do it. So I'd have folders, monthly folders under that folder. I mean, I'd have subfolders like week 1, week 2, week 3. So stuff. What I usually do is that that's different from Christos, is that stuff that I'm not really sure about, I'd leave in my cut. So the following week, I'd go through that cut again, so I'd leave in my wish list in case there's something that I missed, Also try to avoid buying songs that you end up not using at the end of the day, most of the songs that you buy are passionate, so I avoid, buying songs that I really do not need. And then on the other hand, you have people like Christos. There are people that organize their music as such, where Christos is good at that. I mean, Christos can give you music from 1998, arranged, according to tempo, according to, key, and, you get people like that. I mean, Christos will remaster a song that's already mastered. That's how he sorts out his music. So for me, I'm just as easy as that, where for me, yes, the music is the most important thing. What I buy resonates with me. So it's a tool for me to make you see or to make you feel the music, how I'd want you to perceive it. Because you gotta remember, you're controlling people's energies, So if I listen to a song and I think the song would work, I already had sort of like envisioned the happy spot, of playing the song. So your reaction, I already envisioned it, and I could have seen exactly what it is that I want the song to do. So for me, preparing for my set, really, I'd say it goes with the feeling for me. Most importantly, it's about how I'm feeling. Where do I want to go? I'll arrange my music like that. So even if for that week, if I'm playing at Deep in the City, I decide, okay, this week I want to play. It always starts with one song. I'll play, this kind of sound. Then I sort of like look for that kind of sound that fits in with it. It just depends on how I feel. So I don't sort out my music like how Christos does, where it's like subgenres and genres and Afro, this, that, soulful. So everything is just, so if I buy something in first week of November, everything will be mixed in one, whether it's it's dub, maybe it's vocal, whatever. It's up to me just how to sort it out in terms of playing it to make sense, really.
Yeah. And I want to talk about preparation. I think it's a good point to start with, buying music, arranging music, because at the end of the day, you need to find that music. When you're playing, you need to know where to go in your folders. But I want to talk about preparation in a sense of knowing exactly where you're playing. Like you've got a residency. Do you always look to be playing a different set every week and everywhere you go? Are there places where you don't necessarily prepare what you want to play? I just want to get your idea of how you prepare for specific gigs, residencies, and as well as playing for gigs that are not necessarily residencies.
Okay, I think on top of my list for all the events, doesn't matter what it is, play as much new music as possible. That's point one. I don't know why, it's just something is always in me. Maybe it's a personal thing, but I like to play as much new music as possible. At the residency, I like to build on, it's like you kind of have a vision, maybe a vision, for 6 months down the line, a year down the line, you try build for it. The vision might not work once off. So in other words, if you want to do more jazzier feel and you want to push people more to a jazzier sound, see how they react facially and everything, and see if they're there, and rather get them to be there, in the long term. See how many people are coming back and stuff like that. And that's how you work residencies. And I see that as very powerful, because eventually I notice after 3 to 6 months, it gets fuller, it gets busier, and a lot more regular crowds, and that builds the venue, it builds yourself and your movement. And I think, though, I might add in there, very, very important that if you are doing things, I think Lady Leah brought it up a little bit early on, try and do your own events. We're living in different times, and it doesn't matter who you are, when you started. You could start those events at school, you could start them at home, If you have more connections at clubs, you can start them at the clubs, So what I'm saying is very important to start to do your own events and your own movements. You could start it with 5 people. Eventually you're going to get to 50 and so forth. That's how it is. I mean, myself, Lady Psyche, and Art Soul, who's also here, we started a movement called Deep Soul Sensation, right? And we started it, every venue we actually went to had no people. So we'd go to a venue that wouldn't have a Sunday, right? They wouldn't do events on Sundays, and we'd started with no people and build it to whatever. And all those events became successful, and now they're really power-packed events. Deep Soul Sensation is a big following. Of course, we're doing the big event here under that banner. But it's become really powerful in a movement, and people expect the specific music, which is exactly what it says. It's soulful music, whether it's jazzy, but there's a lot of vocal within it, and there's the deep side of it as well. But most importantly, it's very musical. So we try and shy away from maybe the very minimal deep stuff, not because we don't like it, but because it's not for that setup, and it's not for a Sunday, So it becomes very musical, so a lot of solos and stuff like that. But so I'm just explaining, maybe I'm going a long way, but that's the residency. Going to different events, I always have a purpose and something that I want to achieve. And so depending where I'm going, I look at the lineup that's playing, and if I do know them, and it's a bigger event, I'll kind of have an idea what they play, and I'll try obviously play something that they won't, so we don't clash. Because I'm not necessarily going to go the event and listen to everything they play, make sure we don't play the same music. So I'll try and find a way that I'm going to play something different at least. And that's where the new music comes in. I'm always a champion of new music. I always want to break a new song, and I believe it's always done good for my career, because when you break that song and everybody screams, I think that's the biggest achievement a DJ can have, personally, So when I can play a song that nobody's heard before and everybody can scream at it, that is an achievement, because I think that's the purpose. When I started DJing, those are the things that excited me. When I heard a DJ play something that I didn't know, and I wanted to buy that song. And it's always been part of me to say that when I can do that, then I think I've achieved what I wanted in the night. And I wish I can do it with a lot more music. And importantly, and another thing is, we can't push you. There's a lot of producers here and so forth if we don't push the next. Classics are lovely and they're easy to play and everybody knows them and everybody sings along. But we're not going to have the next classic if we don't make it. And that's kind of it. And then So I treat every gig differently. I try and prepare. Sometimes I don't. But because I've prepared for other events, I could take a set that was similar. And when I mean by a set, I throw in like 20 songs or 30 songs. Probably I might play 10 or 15 or 20. I don't know. It depends how long my set is. And then I might add something. And another thing is it evolves. Sometimes I go to a gig and I've got that whole folder there. I don't even touch it because the guy before me was playing something different. Maybe something even better. He was a lot more chilled and people loved it and I went to a completely chilled set. You know, or somebody was playing way harder and my set is just not ain't gonna work. You know. And what we're gonna try and show you at the demonstration is just ways and tricks. When you're playing a specific genre, it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe how you can grind the sound a bit. So if you're playing after a very hard techie set, how you can come in a bit hard, then take it a bit down. Those type of things. There's little tricks. It's more using your mind, you know, but there's little tricks, you know, how do you start off and then bring it down, or in the other way, to start off with a smooth set and then pace it up at the end, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to to the summit, Cat Like Cat. And do you want to move a bit this side, Chris? I wanted to ask Kat as well a similar question because you would be playing sometimes. Festivals, you know, like if you're playing a festival and when you play a club gig, you know, the energy is different, you know, it's a bigger stage, it's a bigger sound system even. How do you prepare differently for different gigs?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me here. Yes, I definitely prepare differently because with a bigger sound, I've noticed that if you're playing stuff with like maybe more subtle kicks, it tends to sound a bit slower on a bigger sound, you know, and you're gonna have to maybe push your BPM a bit more, and I like playing a bit slower. You know, so if I'm playing like with a big sound system, I like to pick out like music with heavy kicks, you know, and then I can go a bit slower, but it sounds a bit energetic, you know. And then also, obviously I've been doing it by ear over time, but like now there are tools that also help, that analyze your music like energy-wise, you know. So, for instance, there's a software called Mixed Key. So I analyze all my music with Mixed Key, and Mixed Key will give you like your tempos, your what key it's in, what energy it's in. You know, they've got it's called a Camelot. It's like a wheel. You know, those circle of fifths. You know, so it will tell you what key it's in, and then what energy from 1 to 12. It is in, you know, and then so, for instance, a club gig, I'll play around 5 to 8 energy-wise, you know. Club gig is more intimate, maybe this kind of size, you know. That's my vibe. But like on a festival, you need a bit more energy, you know. So I'll go, maybe I'll start off at 7 and then end at 10, you know, something like that. So yeah, definitely I prefer. Prepare differently for different kind of situations. Yeah.
Yeah, Chino, I want to know from you, especially with regards to maintaining a certain level of identity, like when you play different gigs, like when you play a club gig and people, where most people would know you for a certain sound, and then you would play deep in the city, different energy, different vibe. How is it necessary to retain a certain identity as a DJ, or is it always good to find ways to be open?
It's a very good question. I think I'm going to unpack it like this. For me personally, this is something that I see a lot of young up-and-coming DJs struggle with, you know. So let's say I go and play with Cat Like Cat and Julian Gomes and you know. So I already understand first of all, I got a call up as China. So I can only do China the best way China knows how. I can never be a Cat La Cat. I can never be a Julian Gomes. I can never be anyone else. So that's the departure point. So if I get to a gig where there's house heads, I'm not there for house heads. I make that decision very early. You know, as soon as I walk into the gig, I see there's house heads. They're like, yeah, you know, you must play proper stuff. I'm not there for them. And what they think about me after, it does not bother me or affect me in any way. Because, guys, if you have a friend that's been DJing for 10 years and you've been supporting him for 10 years, like personally for me, I don't need to impress Cat La Cat for 10 years. It's not going to do me any good. That's a fact. That's a fact. So you need to get to that point where you trust yourself in what you are doing. And you need to be resilient about it. I mean, I started DJing at an age where it wasn't cool to play deep house, let alone buy deep house. So I've had the worst kind of criticism that I could ever get. I used to walk into a party, people would walk out and like, this guy was gonna come for us, and then literally like walk out. So I've lived through that. So I can never be bothered by, I don't go to an event to please a few. I need to do the best of what I do that reflects who I am and why I'm there. So if I'm gonna go play at the Rhythm, why? I'd ask myself, why did the Rhythm call China? What do they want from China? They know exactly, they want what China does best. So I'm going to do that. I think to answer your question as to how was it possible for me to stay consistent in that, it's because I've always done me. You know, I never wanted to be anyone else or sound like anyone else. So what I give you is my truth. If you like it, I'm happy. If you don't like it, I'm gonna try my best to try eventually to get you to like it, to see my truth the same way I see it. So I can never give you a Cat La Cat, I can never give you a Christos, I can never give you an LSG. I'll always give you my truth, which is what you need to do to remain relevant. People are here because they want your truth. If 5 people support you at your gig, they want to hear your truth. They want to hear you. You know, a reflection of who you are. Not today he's with Christos, he's like this. No. People know that obviously I'm into different sounds. You know, so is anyone here. I don't think that everyone here only listens to house music. There's a lot of things that we listen to. You know, I bet you most of the people in this room, if I were to say, come play a lounge set, they'd play a brilliant lounge set. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we are into different things. As a DJ, you have folders of what you do. And Louis Vega can go to Japan and play techno. He can go to Ibiza and play disco. You know, he can go to Germany and play the dark sound. Does that mean he's not Louis Vega? Or does that mean just that he's cognizant of the fact of where he is? That's where a lot of up-and-coming DJs are struggling with, where they feel like whatever, if they play something different, maybe they're selling out somehow, and it's only just an extension of you. If you like deep house, there has to be a techno song that you like, that resonates with you. That's you. But style is a techno. That's what it is. So I never struggled with that because I made a decision very early that anything that I do is going to be my truth. It's fine, you might not like it, it's okay. Maybe sometime you'll like it. I've done compilations 15 years back, people still want it today. When I released it 15 years ago, they were like, nah, I only sold 1,000 copies. Now people want me to re-release. Because it's my truth. I've always believed in it. So you guys should do the same. Just do you, do your truth. You can only be the best version of yourself. That's all it is.
Yeah, definitely agree. I want to ask you, Kat, another question. Chris touched on it a bit about building a set, and knowing where you are, who you're playing with. I want to just touch on this thing of being a team player when you are in a lineup. Like sometimes we see a bigger lineup and people will be like, no, but Ashapang today, and sometimes it's not really. Actually, it's never about that. When you are part of a lineup, you are part of a night, and at the end of the night, this thing must somehow make sense. That's why you put together a certain lineup. But I want to talk about those importances and like, is it really important to see yourself as a team player in a lineup, or ufihle fella and just F shit up?
I think it goes back to what China was saying, because when a promoter does a lineup, I'm assuming that they are curating the night according to the lineup. If I'm bringing guys to play, I know how exactly everybody plays, or the style that they play, and then I'll place them how I want the night to progress. So I think it makes it more important, what China was saying, to stay true to yourself, because when I call LSG, I know exactly what I'm expecting. And then if you come there now and you're like, Chris is on the lineup, I can't play what I want to play, then it messes up my curation as a promoter, So I think if you're true to yourself, then by default, you're going to be like a team player, because you're going to fit in where the promoter has put you, and so it becomes easier. Like, you don't even have to think about it, if you're just going to do what you do best, But also, obviously, you need to keep in mind where you are, the space that you are, what time you are playing, all that stuff, But it shouldn't dictate what you're going to play, because you need to trust that the curator, whoever booked you, knows what you play, knows what your style is, So I think you need to stick to that to respect the curation of the night,
Yeah, and Chris, I want to get to this point where I think it's easy for people like you guys who play regularly, to kind of say, I know what I play and this is what I'll do, but it might be a bit difficult for a new DJ coming into the scene, and feeling maybe out of place with regards to what they want to play and the venues that they are able to actually get bookings at or hustle a booking at, When you find yourself a bit out of place, what is the best way to do? Or should you never look to playing at those kind of venues?
You know what? I think when we all grew up, and I'm not sure, maybe Kat will jump in there a bit later when I'm done. When I started off, I think when you start off as a DJ, we're not all perfect. In other words, in our sound, our ears are still getting empowered, So the first 5, maybe even 10 years sometimes, that's when you start to get into things. I think things are quicker now. When we started off, you had to buy things on vinyl, so you went out searching for things. Things were not necessarily found like on the web now. Things are much quicker now, so you don't have to wait 5 or 10 years to get somewhere. It could even be months or a year or 2, So, but I'm just going through, it's a time process, and your ears get richer and you become more pure in the sound, and eventually you find what you like. So in the beginning, I think you're going to play different genres. If you just got into the scene, you're going to play different genres and different styles, And eventually you're going to find something where your heart's happy. And that's, I think when you get to that point, whatever music it is, and it doesn't matter what it is, stick to that. That's the whole point. Sometimes you want to be versatile. You must just know it's got its own place and disadvantages. I think if you stick to a certain genre and you don't cross certain boundaries, you're bound to go further, because especially if you want to break it internationally, you can't be broad and think I play everything. The first thing when a DJ tells me I play everything, you can play anything you want me to play, then I know I'm not going to help you. Honestly, I'm not going to help you because then you still don't know where you want to be. I can only help somebody where he wants to be. And even though it's not of my genre, I can still advise him what to do and also maybe send him to the right person if I see a talent, and say, what, I think for what you're doing, this is it, that type of a thing. So let's go into that genre brace. So I think where you're playing, yes, play differently, but you can still remain true to yourself. So, what, have a boundary, try and play. If you are playing at a commercial venue, find something different commercially than what everybody else plays. That makes you different, if you understand what I'm saying. So, and that's it, and build yourself from there, and eventually until you get out of that venue. We've all been in situations. I started off I was carrying sound for somebody because I couldn't afford the turntables. So by carrying the sound, this guy used to do weddings, a mobile DJ. So by carrying the stuff, I was able to practice before the wedding starts or whatever and stuff like it because like I say, I didn't have access. So that was my way of being able to practice on the turntables. Eventually, he made me play at the weddings. I was playing music I didn't want to play, but I played it. It helped me because I became diverse and understood. So I might not have been happy with what I'm playing because I was playing anything from ballads to whatever. But it was fine. It helped me on my mixing because I was able to, I want to try and mix everything now. You can't mix ballads, but I would find a way to mix it, A lot of the records those days, because they were with bands, they would lose the speed, but I'll try to find a way. And it helped me in my career, so just being diverse and stuff like that. But either way, what I'm trying to say, if you're at a venue, you can still be different, and yet you're fitting with what the venue is, and you can still be pushing a different narrative. Unlike trying to be, playing that same hit. Okay, so the song's out by Kabza de Small or whatever. We're all going to play it. So all 10 DJs play it. No, maybe play the B-side or play the track that everybody wouldn't play off the same album. Maybe look into that depth, or maybe play something, Do you understand what I'm saying? That type of a thing. I think that's what differentiates the one from the other. And to do that, I think you need to go through your music. You need to put some projection into it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we have to accept failure is part of our growing journey,
Cool. Do you want to get into the...
Sorry, just to add to that. The most important thing is that you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in what you're doing. Like ningatatazeli bafethu, yabo. Like if you do something, do it. Like if China walks in, so what? I'm doing my thing, with respect, obviously. I shouldn't walk into a venue and then you change your set and you're like, you wanna impress me. I'm not there for that. It takes a lot for me to get impressed, and you don't even know what impresses me. What if I like Kabza the Small secretly? I'm just saying. I'm just making an example. So it's not about me. Just do you. Like what you feel is, because music comes from an honest place. It comes from the heart. So no one can tell you whether it's wrong or it's right. There's no wrong. But what you feel is right, do that. That's you, and everything else will align. I just wanted to add to that point. Most importantly, trust yourself. If you think these 10 songs are a reflection of what I want to be about in this game, then if you play them that well, I'd be able to hear and say, who's this guy that just played? After me or before me or whatever the case is. Like, guys, I really don't want you to get stuck in this thing of trying to impress us, because only you know your truth. So do your truth. What feels right to the heart? Christos did it. He didn't go to anyone to seek for approval, or Cat Like Cat didn't come to anyone to seek for approval. Tell me, do you think I'm? No. Because everyone knew from the onset that it's their truth. It always finds its way. So do you. If you want to have a deep soul sensation, your dream is to have that, yes, that can inspire you to have your own, but do it so that it reflects you and who you are. It's an extension of who you are. Do you, and then that's it.
Yeah. I definitely resonate with that. Just one last question to you, Ketne, with regards to playing different markets. I know it shouldn't really matter, but it's I can help but not notice, like, because you would play township gigs, but then you'd also play It's Personal, where it's a lot of like white people more than the black market, Is there much of a difference in terms of sound when somebody's playing Deep Town Josie compared to when somebody's playing at Kokasi?
Well, I think it's kind of like the example that we gave earlier with the festivals. I think it's all a matter of energy, and understanding the energy that's required for certain parties. So, because I generally don't play different music for any market, Sometimes it's just maybe even in the BPM. I know if I'm in the township, I'll play the same song at like 115. But if I'm playing at N Club, Toy Toy, same song, I'll play it at 118, 119, So it's just a different energy, but it's still me, So for me, that's how I'm able to, go on both sides, just giving a different energy, but the content is basically the same,
Oh, cool. I think we can get some questions before Chris does his demonstration. So let's.
All right, if we can get the mic.
We don't have. Oh, I think we took all of them. Oh. That mic.
All right, we're going to have to use one of the mics off the stage, and we'll just be sharing a mic here.
Afternoon. DJ Marvin. I'm a radio DJ at SMUFM. So I have a question for almost all of you guys on stage. Ne? Like the role of DJs in pushing tracks. Ne? If you notice, during the heydays of lockdown, I was always on the screen because we were indoors and stuff like that. My brother China, the song you played, Dakapu, Yesamoya. When you dropped it, like you were playing normal, but when you dropped it, you gave a certain feeling, So like, did they tell you, or China, push this track, or they just gave it to you and said, no, listen to this? I want to know that. Even Vinny Da Vinci did the same on SABC. China did it on DS, and Vinny did it on SABC. Like, the track got some traction because of you. A whole lot of guys played it. So I want to know, do they tell you, push this track, or you just do it from your own, self?
First of all, I got a song, and it was a song that I liked, which resonated with me, That's why I played it. So what I mean by that is that at no point will no one will say, push the song for me, In terms of pushing songs or breaking new songs, that's what DJs do, like what Christos was saying, brothers and sisters, you can produce the best songs, but in terms of presenting them, DJs know how to present songs because that's what they're good at. That's what they do. So why it would seem like someone had maybe given me a song to push, it's because what's been happening of late is that producers, they make their own songs and play their own songs. The presentation is different. Even if Dakap were to play that song, you wouldn't have got the same reaction that it got. We can count a number of tracks. Your Said to Things, your, songs that I've broken personal, and it's just a skill that DJs have. Before, when you did a song, you used to go to a radio station and hand your song to a DJ, to break the song for you. Now, a producer will have a hot song, nothing wrong, but will want to play it by himself. No disrespect, but you might not break it in a way that people will receive it in that way. You understand? So it's just a matter of, personally for me, DJs break songs better? Because that's what they do. Does that answer your question?
And I think I just want to add to that, just something that, especially what's going on now with the music scene, radio doesn't play a lot of the music we make, in all fairness, unless it's really commercial or it's a specific genre at the time. Right now, there's a specific genre that leads. Probably in a year's time, there'll be something else. And sometimes from a production point of view, producers think, if I'd make the song, at least it will be played on radio. It goes back to losing the truth. You know what? Do the music you believe in and find a way. The underground is very powerful. And I wanted to add that there, that if you give the music to the right DJs and it has the right feeling, they'll break it for you. No offense to any radio station or anybody. They have no power. We can topple them in one day. Honestly, we can make the song a hit. The underground is way more powerful than any radio station, no matter how many listeners. You can put them all together. We can topple them. You know, honestly, there's nothing like that feeling. And that's why you felt it as powerful, and even the way it played. And I can tell you what, a lot of people played that song, and I felt it differently from the various people in the way they played it. Some played it slower, some played it faster, the way they put it in, and all those things. And that's what makes a great song, that you can play it in various sets, and that just fitted in a lot of different sets. An amazing track, yeah.
Do you have more questions?
Sorry.
Well, I guess you guys took the words out of my mouth. I think it's because the presentation of a DJ, just in general, is just that song particularly resonated with you, and you felt like he did something special when he played it, and I think it's because maybe probably the build up to it, that whole set building up to that point where you heard the one that resonated with you, and I think that's something that maybe a lot of producers might not be able to do, because especially if they're playing their own songs, that whole hour sounds like one thing, and you miss out even the really dope songs in that set, but they sound like every other song in that set, and because he was playing different tracks leading up to that, it felt somehow, it gave you that thing like, hey, what's this now, and that's why you could also feel it again when Vinny did it, same song, different context, I'm sure the set was completely different, but you got that kind of same feeling, it's the presentation of the DJ, so I think it's not a matter of maybe the song was extra special and people said, hey, take this and push it, it's just that you resonated with it, I heard that very same set. There's a song that I heard, I think it was two tracks before that song, and I was blown away, and I went looking for that track, and I heard that track by itself, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, that's the power of a DJ, yeah.
When I heard him play it, I was like, I need that track. And I got that track, and I was like, it's not going to fit in the stuff. I don't really like it. I like it when he plays it.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, just to add to that, the most important thing, producers, and I'm talking to producers, you need to understand, there's we are not at war, we need to work together, producers and DJs, we are not at war. Like, I understand that you want to shine, you want your time. It will come, If something is meant to come for you, it will come for you. Like, no one can stand in the way of that. So I see now a lot of people will be like on social media, they do nice songs, but they'll only give it to Christos or to Vinny or to whoever, but they never give it to us. So by you saying that, does that mean that you and Christos are the same thing? Christos, Vinny, Glenn, they've all paid their dues for producers to come to them and say, I need you to break this track for me. And I respect that, So if Real Soul gives Vinny a folder of new tracks, am I supposed to go to Real Soul and say, but why are you giving to Vinny, not me? You understand? So you gotta observe the protocol and understand that, there were people that have been doing it, and you respect that. As much as you are good in your own right, but there's just certain way how things are done. You understand? And one person that knows how to do that, and I don't even know how people are aware of it, one producer that's brilliant at doing that, and he saw that very early, is Sculptured Music. Sculptured Music will give Christos a different track to push. He'll give Vinny a different track to push. That's how the Tell the Grooves album, that's how the hype was created. Because someone else somewhere had said to think, and then someone else somewhere had this, had that. During the week when everyone discusses, someone will say, I had this, and then, that's how it builds the hype of the album, to say, all these songs are on one album. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah. Do we have questions?
Actually, I wanted to get the clarity from you guys, because there's this mindset that I've noticed, actually, like in every mixtapes, that China has done it, Christos has done it. So there's this mindset about like the whole DJ world. If China can play, say, Set to Think, and Christos play, what's the other song, the China music remixed?
Speak Lord.
Yeah. So what I want to understand is, and try to explain it to me, that is it necessary for the DJ community, the whole DJ community, to get like the same tracks that you play, sort of like everybody can like play it? Is it like that it's a necessity? I just wanted you guys to clarify for me if you understand my question.
I think I understand where you're going at. I don't know if it's a necessity, but I guess it's a want. When somebody passes on that song and we play it, maybe the reason is as well that, like China said, we stay true. You can give me a track, and if I don't like it, I won't play it. I don't have to tell you I don't like it, but I won't play it. You know what I mean? Or, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to play something I don't like, or it doesn't fit in with what I want to do, just to please you. That is not going to happen. Sorry, that...
Okay, and then the other question.
So maybe the question is, people would want that song because they feel it, or maybe it's just the way we play it. So I think it's a tough question to answer. There's a twofold thing. But when you say that, is it necessary for people to have the song? I think it's just a choice. If somebody wants it, I guess he wants it. Sometimes it's not available right now. Sometimes we're lucky that we have a song and we carry it for long, and stuff like that, and that's it, And we all have that luck sometimes, if you understand what I'm saying. And that's what it is. And that's why I said new music plays a big role. And a song can ride with you, if you know what I mean. You're the only one who has it. Very, very important. It shows you how powerful music is for a DJ. So once again, just jumping into that, for those that are not buying music, I don't care where you're at financially, whatever. Even if you buy one song a month, 3 songs a month, whatever it is, you have to buy music. If you don't learn to buy music, I don't think you're going to be a DJ in the next 5 years. And you're just expecting people to give you songs. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense in my mind. How would you be? Because then it means you're just going to go on the popularity or whatever, or play these popular songs. And look, if you want to do that, that's fine. It's just a different style of DJing, but you're not going to achieve to be where you want to be, And I think you're just playing what people know. There's those DJs, and unfortunately, in our country, in our situation, because people love DJing so much, we know that every second person in South Africa is a DJ in some way or another. Whether it's at home, whatever, whether it's on the decks. And, I think our people, because of the club scene, it's lost its little essence. We don't have clubs anymore, and everything's at taverns and chisanyamas. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's lost a little bit of the essence. And what I'm saying, and people forget what a DJ is all about, the sets, the build-ups, the breakdowns, things. So people now just hear all this popular music and they scream and they think, oh, this DJ is good. And I'm not knocking anybody down, but DJing is a lot more than that. Some of the guys are great that play that music, you know, but it seems that anybody can be a DJ. And to be honest with you, no, not anybody can be a DJ. There's a lot more to it, and I think we've gone through a lot of it. And I just want to jump through some other things that is going to help you in your career after this, technical things. Some of them is very simple things. In other words, before you start, what to do. I don't know if we're going to go into that straight away.
Let's go into that, yeah.
I think let's jump into that. I think simple things, one thing. I'm going to go here. Maybe if the camera can come here. Oops. I hope this thing, yeah, it is. Okay. All right. So I'm just going through simple things. When I get to a venue, very, very important. You don't have to do the same thing as me. I'm just going to give you advice the best way I can. All right. When I go to a venue, I listen to the sound system. That's the first thing that I do from wherever I am, different angles, from the back, from wherever, and I see where the power is. If I can, because I'm experienced, I try and fix that sound if it needs fixing, all right? In other words, if the speakers are facing all that way and if we had to face them in, there would be more sound. A lot of the promoters sometimes, they don't realize that, let's say we're playing here and there's no sound around here and the sound is spread all over like a conference. You know, then the guys here won't feel it, you know? So sometimes you need to tell them in advance. Sometimes when you get there, you have to fix things. Very, very importantly. So go to a venue, check the situation out, see how to get things to be comfortable for you. I'm comfortable with having the CD players in a specific place, moved it up to a specific height. I even get crates, I get boxes. I know the venue, so I know 3 Heineken boxes will bring the level up a bit this high. If that's how I want it, because if I want to play at this level, that's where I want to play. I make sure that I organize those things before I play. I don't bother the DJ before me. As he's playing his last song, I'll lift them up to this level because I'm comfortable with it. If the monitor's on the left and I can't put it to the right, I'll put it to the right if I prefer it on the right. Things like that. You know, if the DJ is in full reds, and I don't like that, because somewhere you're bound to clip and get distortion, then I'll tell the engineer, whoever, look, when he's finished playing, I would like to bring down the volume. Can you bring the master up? I want to get out of the reds, and I'll stay there. Sometimes it's difficult. Some of the guys ignore you, no matter your experience and whatever. But very, very technical things. Another most common thing, right? Whenever you travel, carry a spare RCA. One. Carry a link cable. Now, for those of you that don't know what the RCA is the cable, this cable, the red and the white cable at the back, left and right, that connects to from the CD player to the mixer. Carry a cable. A lot of times, they don't check them and they don't work. You'll find one of the channels is playing on one channel and it's lower than the others. And everybody doesn't actually get to realize that. So, one thing, buy the cheapest one you can. They all work. Maybe sometimes you might have to leave it. Okay, but very importantly, because when I check even when I hear the DJ. The minute I hear that one song is louder than the other, the first thing to check up on. Hold on, is it his CDs? Or is it the track? Is it whatever? Or is that the problem? When you get to your mixer, you put on your headphones, check. If your headphones are working both sides, it will help. Have a good pair of headphones. Even if they're a cheaper pair, but a good pair means that they're working both sides stereo. Check, put them on. Check that both channels are working on both sides. If they're not, take out that RCA or ask them for another RCA, swap it around, get those things right. These are very simple things, but those things can make you or break you. You know, right now you could be at a small gig, it won't make a big difference. But then you're going to get a big gig, it's going to make a difference. You know, those things, you know, I was taught from a young age, I was always had an interest in sound, so I learned these things from a young age, but because I had an interest. There wasn't a school, but I learned them. And I'll tell you what, I decided to leave this country 88, 89, and I just went to the UK. And I just wanted to go to the UK and experience it. It was the house music hub of the world at the time. House music just came out, and there was a lot of soul, and I loved soul. And I just wanted to go there, and I was playing for like 3-4 years at the time, you know. But I wanted to experience the world. So I went to the UK and had an opportunity to stay there. And I got my first gig by knowing those wiring. And it was funny enough, it was at a Robert Owens birthday party, which I happened to get an invite. I went to the birthday party, and they had a problem. And I actually cut a cable, an RCA, and connected it to the turntable cable, which only one channel was working. I fixed it. And they actually got to play because they were waiting for another turntable to arrive, and I fixed that for them. Then we engaged, and then eventually they invited me to a club, and I started being resident at the bar upstairs. And that's what I wanted to achieve. But I achieved it by default through knowing the wiring, if you understand what I'm saying. And simple, I mean, I don't know how long they had been DJs for, but they didn't have that knowledge. Knowledge is always power. So please know your equipment, you know. If you can't afford the equipment, it's not a problem. I never could afford any of the stuff. I went to people, I carried things, I did what I had to know these things. You know, went to a club, I cleaned the club just to try the stuff out. You know, those days, those turntables and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a willpower thing. A lot of people call me and say, you know, we don't have. I didn't have either. Not meaning it in a bad way, but I didn't have. My parents were definitely not going to buy it. So, and you know what? It took me 15 years before I could buy my first set of turntables because they were expensive, you know, and I was patient. You know, it is what it is, but I got to use them, you know. So, very, very importantly, we've been through the whole process of the music, knowing where your music are, your folders, your sticks. Always have backup sticks. Try and buy the better sticks that, you know, if you can, and have them organized at all times. Update them, you know, always have spare sticks, stuff like that. And that's why I said bring your cabling. I try and bring the link cable as well. A lot of people don't, because we're linking CD players. Now I disallow people to give me sound CD players that don't link. I set up this thing here today, if you can all see it on the screen. And this is kind of the entry level now, Pioneer setup. I prefer Pioneer. Most DJs do prefer Pioneer. We know it's the better, but it's not the only ones. There is good Denon CD players that are maybe for hip-hop DJs especially, and I believe a lot of the controllers are also great. Okay. Another thing is, how's this mic? Because it seems to be making a lot of noise. Maybe I should use the cordless. Yeah. I think, let me move into this, and then I'll jump back into this if I'm getting demonstrative. So I'm just going through this whole process because it's very, very important, and get to know it. It's a very simple thing. With the CD players, your red and your white goes into red and your white, and it connects at the back of your mixer. There's only one red and white, and a lot of them sometimes have a digital out at the back, so they have, this one doesn't, but your bigger CD players do. So you have your left and your right, and that would go into your mixer, into the left of your right of your channel. Your mixer, a lot of times, has phono and line. Line would be your CD, phono would be for your turntable. Believe it or not, turntables are still in fashion. They'll never go out of fashion, and they always make sure that all mixers have phono, and I'm sure you've noticed that as well. This one specifically even has 3 channels. It's got a third channel for a third option for something else. It doesn't really quite help, but, well, if you have something else, maybe an iPod, if you want to play background music, you can clip to that, and you don't have to change the wires. You know, that type of thing. You can just change the switch. But know your equipment, you know. Very, very importantly, I think it makes you to be a better DJ. When you know these things and you can fix these things, it gives you opportunities as well, and also you understand what's wrong with the sound. Another thing is, very importantly, try stay out of the reds when you're playing. Stay completely out of the reds if you can. In some instances, there's no unison between the sound guy and you. The club owner sometimes wants to put the volume very low on the amps because he thinks you're going to blow them. So everybody's playing on full red. We don't always have that opportunity to always stay out of the reds, but try and stay out of the reds very
Chris, please just explain
staying out of the reds.
What staying out of the reds?
All right, so if we go here to the channel here, you can see the yellow lights. Actually, let me drop the master. You can see the yellow light there. And then, now, you see it's going into the red. All right, so stay out of that red. When it just touches the red a little bit as we go along, so in other words, not there yet, there it is. So as long as it's not too static, so you can go into the red a little bit, it's fine. But it mustn't just stay in the red like this. Problem. And why? Because when you go into red, it means danger, it means clipping. So when you hear that clipping sound in the sound system, some sound systems, depending on the power they have and whatever, they can handle it, but most can't. And especially at the ones we play. We in an unfortunate situation where people do not understand sound in this country. I was even surprised when you said promoters book you and then just, for the lineup. Promoters don't know anything about a lineup. 99% in this country, no offense to them, but don't know anything about a lineup. And the ones that know things about a lineup are the ones that have an amazing events. And they've created events that a lot of the people follow. A lot of people could be 100 people, but they always follow it. It could be 1,000 people, but they always follow it, if you know what I mean. So it's not necessarily how big the numbers are, but it's just consistency. But promoters don't actually know. We need somehow, I don't know what we're going to do through this conference as we grow it and everything. Promoters are going to have to be brought in. We're going to try to help them because I think we've lost the essence of that. If you watch the programs of the DMS chats, Black Coffee, I think half his chat was about that, about promoters and the difference between international gigs and here, that promoters overseas curate their gigs, the music, the sound, the mood. And here we don't. Here it's like, let's make money, Baba. Buckets and what, and coffee's here, and as long as the speaker's playing, we're rock. But it's not about that. And one good thing only about this whole thing is that South African DJs are very good. You know why? We've played on the worst sound systems ever, and we've had to find ways around it. And I think that's why we're actually amazing DJs, honestly. The guys overseas have these amazing sound systems. And I think they're spoiled in a certain sense. We have to suffer, Sometimes you even have to suffer, especially as a deep house DJ too, because you need that sub, man. And when it's not there, it's a problem. But either way, get to know your sound because, it will help you. And be sound conscious. Try and stay away from drinking 20 beers before your set. Drink them during your set if you like drinking, especially towards the end. But stay away. Because there can be a lot of things that can affect you. Rather, start off your set sober. As a matter of fact, maybe stay sober throughout the whole set. But either way, it's up to you how you want to do this. But I'm just telling you, there's a lot of technicalities. Be aware of them, and you need to be sober-minded to get this stuff right. Then, I think we're going into, which maybe if the guys want to jump in as well. Then you go into the technical side of things, the mixing and, how to go through the swing, like smooth mixing and stuff like that. I wonder if we shouldn't do another session of this. I think we have time to do it on the last day, and I think we'll do another session on the mixing side because I don't want to chow up all the time. But we're going to have, by the way, let me jump into this since I'm here now. We're going to have the DJ competition. How many DJs do we have here? All right, so I count like 15, 20. I think that means all of you can play. Look, I'm not sure the turnout for tomorrow because it's going to grow. There's a lot more people that have bought tickets that are here. As a matter of fact, probably double, even triple the amount. But look, I think we can probably get about 20 to play. It's going to be short sets. So the DJs, DJ competition. And the DJ competition primarily is to identify a talent. All right? So just remember that it's not what you're going to do. So it's not how you're going to impress me in the effects or whatever, right? It's actually going to be more on that whole 10 or 15 minutes that you're going to do. I know in 15 minutes you can't do much, but we can't allow more than that because of time, But let's see. And, so there's the DJ side because we want to choose somebody to mentor. And then there is the production side. There's the guys who are producing. But not only necessarily producing those who are singing, if you have a track, those, even if you're instrumentalist, a saxophonist. So we're looking for, from the production side, either a producer, an instrumentalist, or a vocalist, or somebody talented within the musical side from that side. And that, you're actually going to win a 6-month mentorship program. And depending who you are and what you are, will place you at the right place. And maybe in different places. So you might go and visit Chima Music and learn a bit about mastering, this person about mixing, this person about vocal recording and so forth over a period of 6 months. So take advantage of that. That's a nice thing of this program. So if we find more people, maybe we'll try and accommodate it. It depends also where they're from. But I suspect that most people are from Joburg. But even if you are from another province, we'll see how to accommodate you, And that's it, because this is what these conferences are about, identifying talent and nurturing it and helping you, And sometimes you might not bloom now, but you'll bloom a few years later, And I think very importantly, those with the music now, even if you have handed your song online, because there's big confusion from the first conference to this, I suggest by tomorrow, Please bring your song when you get in the morning. Make sure that they dump it on the computer in the bank. Make sure it's named properly. If it's not, they're going to rename it for you there to help you so that we can identify you, and we're going to play them because we want to identify the production side as well. All right, and also hopefully maybe some of the stuff will be released. Maybe we can give advice on it. We don't know what can happen. Anything can happen. Your career can start right here. So that's part of it, the thing. So producers, how many do we have? There's a lot. So I'm sure you've all got music, right? So make sure, please, tomorrow you bring it. Please don't bring 30 tracks. One song, maximum 2. If you're not sure between the 2 songs, which one is the biggest track, bring 2. But I would suggest, honestly, bring your strongest track. And listen to what China says, straight true. You know, and I know you might have a soft side or smooth side. So at least if you're going to bring us something soft or something hard, then it's okay. It makes sense. But if you're going to bring us 2 songs that are similar, then, I don't know, choose one. It's going to be difficult. But I'm going to listen to them the night before and a few other people, and we're going to choose the best ones to play, the best ones that we feel. But another nice thing with the conference, of course, it just doesn't end when it ends, right? We're going to revisit a lot of the stuff that we get, and we'll come back to people. Sometimes we miss things. It's part of the industry. Sometimes we didn't pick up on something. But the fact that we have it gives us the opportunity to always revisit it, you know. But because we have so many great ears as well here, we're probably not going to miss anything, you know. So so tomorrow, make sure that you do bring the DJ competition. So what we'll do in the whole DJing thing, we'll go into that on the last day. All right, which will be on Friday. So we'll go into the whole technical side, maybe just doing the effects. Maybe I'll get Shimza, maybe Black Coffee can join us or something, and just have a quick little chat about, you know, the effects side and how you can hype up your sets and stuff like that, because there's ways and means that you can do it, and there's also ways and means that you can irritate the shits out of everybody. And that part you must stay aware of, because now sitting on effects the whole time and, you know, and maybe just relying on effects and not musically, I don't know if that's going to work. It needs to be at least the balance of both, okay? All right, so I think let's cut it into that, because otherwise, and let the guys maybe close up.
You can show us, brother.
All right, so let's just do a short demonstration. Okay, let me see here, because I wasn't sure where I was going to go. All right, but all right, now I'm gonna play 2 different tracks. All right, let's start off with this track. Okay, all right. So let's say you're here. I'm gonna just forward it so we. I want to show you something. So I started off with that track and I went into this track, right? Now I'm starting off with this track.
Can we make it interesting?
Yeah, we are going to make it interesting. Okay. All right, we can take that out. So now I'm going. just going to stop it there. And all I wanted to express there, the two songs don't actually go together, but there's two different genres there. But when you start with when I started with the higher genre and I went to the lower genre, it had a complete different feeling. And when I started from the lower genre to the higher genre, it had a complete different feeling, right? And what you need to achieve is, you need to achieve the feeling that you want to go to when you want to start off your set. So, in other words, somebody could be playing a techie set, and the track is by Dawson, and ending there, and you want to take it completely down, and we're going to the Gob song, which is a remix by Sean McCabe, right? Or the other way around, you want to take it higher and stuff like that. And those are the feelings that I'm just trying to say that you can go to from one to the other. The two songs don't mix perfectly, but they're on the same line, as in power within their genres. But the one is completely mellow, and that goes into the energy level that you're saying. And I can tell you, I'm not sure about the energy level here because I don't do energy levels, but the energy level there would be 4 or 5, or 3 to 4. And the other Dawson track, the energy level would be about 6 or 7. I would say that, you know. So that's the energy that I was talking about. I just wanted to reiterate it. So you see the difference between the energies. Now I can tell you something about keys. They're both nearly the same key. The program he's talking about is brilliant. The mixed in key. Check it out. There is a price tag to it. Unfortunately, I don't know if there's cracks. Stay away from cracks.
It's way worth it.
But it's way worth it. But just one thing, because I've had it. I had it for years. I didn't use it, then I used it. Don't let it dictate how you play.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Don't let anything dictate how you play. Let these things make how you play better, but don't let them dictate how you play. Machinery can't dictate how you feel. So you must be the feeling. If you feel like you want to break the conventional way, it'll make your music smoother because a lot of your keys will be the same. But I tell you what, if you don't feel the next song, if your mood, if you want to go up and you don't feel the next song and you choose the right song that goes up, then you won't get up, if you understand. This is not going to tell you to do that. So you must know, where do you want to? Do you want to go up? Do you want to go down? Do you want to stay there? And you should know your music, and that way. And that's how you push it. And you should know when to drop that big track. And that's why China broke that track. And that's why certain people, for the producers out there, mark your people. When you know that you've made the song and it's a track, you should know the DJ, they should give it to you immediately. While you're still in studio, and let me tell you, that track will be a hit. By the time you release your track, everybody will want it. And that's, like you said, that's why Sculptured managed to be able to get that, hit it to the nail. And he's probably done it with 4 or 5 people. And it was like as if it was planned. And you know what, he probably did plan it. But know who you're making the music for.
You know, there are some tracks that when you play, they are so high that they make you feel like, you know what, let me just walk out. Because it's just that good of a track. So now, if you've mistakenly put that song maybe somewhere in between your mix or somewhere in between your mix, like in the middle or maybe nearing the end. So then how do you come back from that? Because you put in that much of a good track, and then after that you feel like your set is going plummeting down. So what do you do from that? How do you come back from that?
All right, so in other words, what you're saying is you're playing like a high energy song and then you mess up. Yeah. And we all do it. Sometimes I felt this song was going to kick because I had a better sound system or there was more sub and, it doesn't work. You know, and it happens even right now where I am in my career. It happens sometimes. But you know what? That's why you go through your music. You know that you should have another song that you can pick it back up that's stronger than the one that you took it down with. Then go back up there. You know what? It is what it is. We all mess up. It is what it is. As long as you know that you messed up, then you know how to fix it, go to the next level, and don't worry about it. There's times where I've had a bad set. You know, I've prepared, I put my thing, but I just couldn't feel the music and I didn't gel it properly. You know, the mood was not right. I was too moody. I was too like this. And I didn't plan to be like that, but I was. It is what it is. You know, you go home, you rethink of it, cry a bit, whatever, come back, and you get back stronger. Sometimes it happens 2-3 times in a row. It is what it is. You know, your mistakes will make you better. That's it. As long as you acknowledge them and you're not stubborn about them and you know that they are mistakes, and that's it, you know. It is what it is. You know, unfortunately, we all have good and bad sets. It is what it is, you know. We don't plan it. But I think most of the times we try and do the best we can. All right.
I think you guys also need to realize that as a DJ, you need to be spending the bulk of your time listening to your music in full, from the first second to the last second, because some things like that, you are able to sort them out just by knowing what's going to happen in the song towards the end, or your next track right at the beginning, So you might just drop the energy by just mixing it 10 seconds too late or 10 seconds too early, and it fucks up your mix, And it's not the wrong song, it's just how you did it, But it's because you don't know your music. A lot of guys know the titles. They've got these big folders with tons of music, and they've never listened to the music. They just scroll. Oh, this is nice, and then they chop it in a folder. But they don't really listen to the music. So I think that's the big thing for me as a DJ. You need to know almost every element in that song. You need to know at 2 minutes 30 seconds this is what's going to happen. This kick is going to break a bit, and I can do this, I can do that. So just by knowing the music, you can fix what you've been struggling with.
Guys, I hope you well. I'm asking to tomorrow submission. Do we bring MP3s or waves?
Well, your choice.
Oh.
It's your choice. The wave will obviously sound better, so your choice. So if you can bring a wave, bring a wave. But MP3 is fine. With the sound that we'll use, you'll get away with both. Will sound great. All right. So whatever you have, just bring it. But please don't bring 128 kb. It's going to sound bad. So 320 up. I'm not going to say no, but just know that you'll be at a disadvantage. No? Okay. If you're in a position where you're stuck, well, bring it. We'll see what to do. But, I think we're 320k up. No? All right. Okay.
Sorry. Can I just maybe get last two questions, like from producers? Like, we'd like to know from you, like, what is the frustration? What is the frustration that you're currently experiencing? And same goes to DJs.
All right. We're going to take these two questions quickly because we went way over on our session, okay? And then we're going to cut it there because we've got 2 more sessions to go. Okay.
Hi, guys. One of my biggest frustrations is not having the correct plugins and not knowing how to use presets properly. I don't know if you can give us advice on specific plugins that maybe we could go and check out that could maybe help us in our production, even including mastering, maybe. I don't know. I know a lot of people have their own opinions on the digital audio workstation, but maybe you can give us advice on which audio workstation is working best. I know it works best for different people, but if you can give us advice on how for you guys, how it's working out.
All right. I think regarding that, those you're going to have, and the expertise of 3 people, Miss D, Sculptured Music, and Chimer Music. And they're going to go through 3 different programs. I know they use different programs and they use different computers. So you're going to get a lot of knowledge on that. And I think one starts tomorrow morning. I think it's Miss D. Pretty much studio setups. So, and we're going intricate in that. So it's studio setups, doing remixes, and then the mastering and mixing side. So, and all of them use plugins, and then they can tell you what would be the best. So that definitely massive coverage in this summit. The second question? Or rather second problem?
No frustration. Oh.
Okay.
Hello. I speak as a producer and a DJ. I see there's a trend happening that the songs, or the BPM rather, is getting slower now as they play. So we produce tracks 120, 123, Now it's getting, as we play, most places it's 117, 160. But now I think it's getting slower and slower. So that's kind of, we don't know as now. Which direction is this scene going to now, especially when it comes to local soulful music. So how do you go about that?
Well, for me personally, I don't really. What I've noticed is that I know where I have got an idea where I want my music to be played, you know. So 10 years ago, a lot of people were playing 125, 123, and it was normal. It didn't feel fast, you know. But obviously, like you say, as more people are playing slower, and you see it in the productions now as well. Like a lot of producers are producing slower BPM, you know. But for me, it hasn't really been an issue. I don't think it should really be an issue, you know, to think about too much. If it fits, you know, if the style fits, you know, FK Mesh does stuff 115, 113, and it works. He does some stuff at 120. So I guess it just depends where you want your music to be played, you know. But one thing that I've seen, you'll see internationals coming into the country, and to them, our speed feels much too slow for them. You know, they come here, they play 125, and it doesn't feel right to us, you know, but it's because of what they are used to. And I think produce how you feel and where you want your stuff to be played, you know. Yeah. I think we'll close it. You want to get one last more. We need to get to another session.
Hi, my frustrations basically is after I've mixed and mastered, and then maybe I'm going to compare it with another track in terms of volume. I feel like maybe now mine doesn't have that sort of, it's like I have to crank it up a bit. Although the mixing, I'd like to feel but then that's subjective. But then yeah, I think that's the biggest problem that I am currently facing right now. So which I'm not sure how to sort of overcome. And the second one is after we've done all of these things, it's difficult, like you guys said, that you have to give it to the right DJs, but sometimes we don't have a network when you're starting out. So not and everything, so yeah, that's all that's my two questions.
I think the mastering one, like we will touch on it again when with Chima Music, because he's gonna be handling that mastering session. But Chino, do you want to talk about like this? If you don't have the network, the right network of artists and DJs that you can give your music to?
For me, I'm easy, you know. I can easily give you my email address. You know, if it's something that resonates with me, it's fine. I'll play it. You don't even have to beg me to play it or ask me. If it's something that I like, I'll play it. And I actually would suggest that at the end of this conference, Chris, can we hand out our email addresses, all of us? I think, yeah, you know, that's what I'd suggest. I think that would help. So, does that make it better? Sure. Thanks.
Can I just say something about the BPM in music? There's some music, the same track, for different cosmopolitan groups. I won't say race groups. The same track can go down for everybody at different speeds. Generally in Soweto, you'd play a track maybe 115 to 118. The track bangs. When you move to Eldos, it goes 120 to 123, even maybe 125. Then if you move to Lenasia, into Senton, you're playing 125 to 130. If you really think about it, the faster the music, the less rhythm you need. The slower the music, the more rhythm you need. So you can draw your own conclusions from that.
Oshi!